Welcome to Bills Post-Game Live. We are presented by Wesley, Clark, and Peshkin, your divorce and estate planning attorneys. Your family is our business. And the Bills beat the Jets with a big victory. 32-6 is your final score. Maddy Glab alongside of Steve Tasker. And on a short week with a change at offensive coordinator, the Bills were able to get things together, put 32 points on the scoreboard, only allow 6, beat one of the best defenses in the NFL. The Jets have not allowed 32 points so far this season. That's the most scored by an offense on this defense in the year so far. Josh Allen throws for 3 touchdowns, and the defense, including special teams, is able to grab 4 takeaways. Steve, I think this is what we were all wanting and waiting to see out of this team, from the defensive side of the ball to really the offensive side of the ball, getting things going from the jump. We saw the confidence, we saw the energy that Sean McDermott wanted out of this offense to start the game. And it really started with special teams. We talked about field position last week. The Bills didn't have great field position last week. This week, Reggie Gilliam forces a fumble on the opening kickoff. The Bills recover it and are able to score a field goal on within the first couple minutes of this game. So, Steve, what was the best part of this game for you?
The best part was the opening kickoff when they coughed it up and the Bills got the ball in Jets territory. I think the big difference in this game as opposed to the other games we've seen is the Bills were on the plus side of the turnover margin. +3 on the game. They had 4 turnovers in total. Josh threw an interception, but it was a Hail Mary at the end of the first half. And it was meaningless. Even though there was a moment when he thought, oh my gosh, he might return it for a touchdown. They got him tackled actually at the 30-yard line, so it was no big deal. But that stat right there, winning the turnover battle, gives the Bills more possessions against a really good defense. They managed to finally solve it. I thought Joe Brady was very good early on when they were settling for field goals. It was like, okay, it's going to be struggling. And I thought it might be difficult for a new offensive coordinator to get a feel in the red zone. It's a very specific area of the field, different kind of play calling, different considerations. Thought it might take them a few weeks to get that together, but no, it didn't. They got down there and the red zone offense perked up, and they scored 32 points on those guys.
It was great to see. I know this is just the start of what this offense can do now in the second half of the season. They're chipping away here game by game. It starts with a victory over the Jets. Big games ahead for this team, but right now we're focused on this one. Josh Allen at the podium right now, so let's get right over to QB1.
Thank you.
Is that the difference? Haircuts?
I think so.
First time you've gone through this mid-season with the head coach change, how did the offense handle it as the week went on?
Yeah, well, we got a lot of true professionals in this room. Wasn't an easy week, I'll tell you that. I'm proud of everybody that stepped up and filled roles that maybe they didn't expect to fill this year. That's Joe, that's Schulz, that's Kyle Shermer, that's Mark Lubick, that's the whole entire offensive staff pulling together. Again, it's not easy to do that, but again, guys played well, had a good week of practice, had a good game plan going into it. Guys executed, took care of the football other than the Hail Mary before the half, but our defense played outstanding. But Reggie Gilliam setting the tone on play 1. That's what it came down to.
That's a lot to get through, Josh, obviously, on a short week. But take us through the process. Even within that game, it seemed like you started to find a groove.
Can you pull the mic closer to you, Josh, in the middle? Just pull it. Yeah, thank you, sir.
Sorry, good, better?
Yeah, thank you.
Say it again, sorry.
Yeah, just as that game went on, I mean, that's a lot to adjust to, the changes you just went through. It seemed like you started to find a groove as an offense out there as it went on.
Yeah, again, I hate to be a broken record, but this isn't an offense that was broken. We've been playing close to where we need to play, and today it felt like we played close to not as good as we can play, but we played obviously better. And that's obviously a good thing to see. It's a good thing to feel, to go out there and trust the guys around you. And we were executing at a high level today, and our offensive line, they played their tails off, man.
How was this game plan, though, Josh, effective versus one of these top defenses in the NFL?
Well, again, I don't think it was keying on one guy. We're spreading the ball around quite well. Guy stepped up, made some plays. You talk about Ty Johnson, who's been on the practice squad, hasn't been active on most game days. former team, against the Jets, and he made some really, really amazing plays for us tonight. That touchdown catch and run, that's unbelievable to stay on the sideline. And I thought our running backs ran the ball so hard, but they had the lanes to do it tonight. And again, that's credit to the big fellas up front.
Josh, would you say conceptually, I mean, you can't just rip the playbook up in week 11. Would you say conceptually a lot of it was just the same, and it just came down to better execution? Fans are going to say Brady was the difference, but really that probably isn't true, right?
Yeah, I mean, again, it's at this point it is what it is. But our guys came and they played well tonight. I felt like I didn't try to force anything, trusting the guys around me to make plays, and that's what we did tonight.
Did you see a difference in energy tonight this week in this game?
I think our team was energetic as we needed to be, and a lot of that, for better or worse, can come from the quarterback. So just making that a point of emphasis throughout the week, like let's have fun playing this game. It's football at the end of the day. We get to do, in my opinion, the most amazing job on the planet, and that's come out here and play football. So we've got to enjoy it when we can. Obviously, losing sucks, and we don't want to lose. It's literally is the worst feeling in the world when you're working hard and trusting the process and things aren't going your way. Sometimes you have a good process and a bad result, and it feels terrible, and you feel like you need to switch everything, but we really don't. We got to keep coming together as a team, keep fighting, keep playing complementary football, and put our head down and take it week by week.
Speaking of energy, can you take us into that 81-yard touchdown to Khalil, the play itself, and then you sprinting length of the field to celebrate with him afterward?
Yeah, just getting into a little empty package, and saw they were playing what we call like 66 buzz, where the boundary safety comes down and kind of takes away Diggs. Diggs did his job, took 2. Dalton came across the field. He's the second read. Safety took him. Khalil did a good job bending in a little bit and getting away from that corner. So he made a heck of a play. And then the effort to get in the end zone, I haven't really seen the play yet, but I'm sure there was guys downfield blocking their tails off, and Dalton Kincaid was probably down there. He seems to find himself around the ball all the time, and that's why we love him.
You guys made it pretty clear all week that your backs were against the wall. Does a win like this kind of give you validation of knowing, like, okay, we got a fight ahead of us, but we think we're ready for it?
I guess you can say that. Like every season, man, like has its ups and downs. You're gonna have adversity. It's how you bounce back from the adversity, and sometimes it takes a spark like this to ignite your team. I think back to a couple of years ago, we were 7-6, backs against the wall there too, and it's obviously slightly different this time around. But we've got guys that have been there before, and just got to keep leaning on each other, and like I said, keep taking it week by week. Thank you guys.
All right, a week-by-week approach. We know that this is what this team is going to take as they head on into the second half of the season with some tough opponents ahead. Khalil Shakir, a bright spot for the offense tonight. It was awesome to see him get going. Led the team with 3 catches for 115 receiving yards, so he's going to be our player spotlight. Let's get into this week's player spotlight. It's presented by Microsoft Surface. Microsoft Surface is the official tablet and sideline technology of the Buffalo Bills. We know he had that huge touchdown reception, catch and run, 81 yards, the biggest offensive play by the Bills this season, also the biggest touchdown reception in the NFL so far this year. So Steve, why does he deserve kudos tonight?
Well, he continues to catch the ball at a high rate. 4 targets, he got 3 catches, and he said 3 catches for $115. I know the 81-yarder takes a lot of it out, but he also got a huge play on second down earlier in the game, or on a third down conversion earlier in the game. And he just continues to catch the ball at a high rate. And when Josh throws it to him, it rarely ends up on the ground. He did have a drop tonight. It was a bad throw by Josh behind him. He did everything he could. He turned his entire body, got both hands back around it. It was just his speed was too much to get back and grab it. Although he did the exact right technique to try and catch it. Just playing at a high level right now. And that's really what you need in this offense, in my opinion. We've gone through those days where, we don't really care if Josh turns it over if they're going to score 32 points, But tonight they were on the positive side of the turnovers, and they got those points. But they need guys, when Josh throws it to them, they got to catch it. And in the last couple of years, we've had guys that don't catch enough of the passes, don't catch enough of their targets. This year with Cook, with Kincaid, with Diggs, and now with Khalil Shakir, that has really changed, and it's made a difference.
Yeah, we had several guys on the stat sheet tonight that caught almost all of their passes, maybe missed one of those, but great to see a bunch of different guys get involved. We'll talk about that a little bit later, but let's keep getting to some player sound. Micah Hyde and Jordan Poyer on the podium right now.
Despite all the injuries, I mean, that's got to be one of your best performances, start at the top or top to bottom all year, right?
Yeah, we just found a way to respond from the last 2 weeks. That's what this game is. That's what life is, just being able to respond in adverse situations, kind of backs against the wall. And, you know, it's just the type of team that we have, and put a good week into practice, and it showed today.
Micah, we've heard a lot of you guys say over the years, like, confidence is a hell of a drug, and the turnovers come in bunches. Does it feel like today can kind of spark maybe a continuation of that, especially turning the ball over? That's been an area where I guess you guys probably have not performed up to your normal standard lately.
Yeah, I mean, what do we have? How many picks we had? We had two. Zul had two, and then
He had two picks.
Yeah, two picks. Yeah. Yeah, I mean that's just obviously he's gonna play a lot of confidence, which he does already. But just for our defense, man, to have all those takeaways early in the season and go on a little drought, not really living up to our standard of taking the ball away. So, yeah, man, it's good to go back out there and do that in front of our home crowd, and something we can build off of.
What have you guys oh, go ahead, Captain. What have you guys seen from behind the scenes where he's acclimated so quickly to this defense to make plays like that?
It's a really, really good football player, very instinctive, understands the game inside and out, and he's just somebody who I can just tell a call, he's going to listen, and he understands what he's doing, and he plays physical, he plays aggressive, and he makes our job on the back end a lot easier.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, for sure. And just not even football-wise, just his presence in the locker room. He's a confident person. His ass be cheating playing Uno in the locker room, but competitor all the way, and shows up on the football field.
Mike, it always hurts when guys go out, but it's happened so much to you. Not that it makes it easier; it would never be easier. But are you gotten used to just mixing and matching when guys have to go out there and perform when you've lost players? It's happened a lot over the last 2 years, really.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't say used to it because, you can having the camaraderie of guys, the guys that are on the field and starters, I would say, of being out there and getting a lot of reps together is ideal. But, we emphasize a lot, next man in. You guys heard that probably 1,000 times over the last 7 years, and that's exactly what we're trying to do. Someone goes out, next person step in, and good thing is we got leaders throughout the defense that can kind of get these guys lined up and allow them to play fast.
On that same note, can one of you touch on the emotional toll it takes on a player to see the ambulance come out for one of your teammates, a sight that you guys have seen far too often the last couple of years?
It is hard. Anytime anybody goes off on a stretcher, on an ambulance, on a cart, it's tough. It's part of the game that we play. Always just can't wait to go see how them boys are doing right now as soon as we get out of here. It is tough, but it's part of the game, and we'll bounce back, and we found a way to get a win.
I just want to say off that, like when stuff like that happens, for us, we signed up to play. We've been playing this game for a long time, so we understand, stuff like that can happen. But I think the biggest thing is for our families. It's tough for them to see. Obviously, the ambulance coming out is a scary thing. So, for the families to go through that, it's unfortunate. But hopefully, like J-Po said, those guys are at home or wherever they're at recovering, and hope to see them tomorrow.
Did it feel like the offense had more juice from your vantage point when you're watching them today?
Yeah, I mean, they're a damn good offense. And they've had juice all week. The energy that they've came out with throughout the week, we fed off of it. They fed off of ours. And so we just want to keep this thing rolling. Thanks, guys.
All right, that was Micah Hyde and Jordan Poyer. A couple of their teammates in the DB room left this game with injuries. We will look to see if Sean McDermott has anything to say about that once we hear from him, hopefully in the next several minutes. That's Dane Jackson, Taylor Rapp, and who's the other guy that I'm missing here? Taron Johnson. So those three guys came off the field, did not return in this one. The defense continues to take blows in terms of the amount of injuries that have added up on that side of the ball. But hey, when guys get out, guys come back in, and this defense was still able to hold the Jets to just 6 points. I know there was a quarterback switch. Zach Wilson came out. Tim Boyle came in for the last quarter and a half, I believe it was.
That's right. Yeah. Midway through the third quarter or thereabouts, yeah. And you could feel it coming. He was 7 of 15 at the time when they took him out with an interception and a touchdown. Zach Wilson did not play well at all. And you keep saying it, but I don't know if anybody realizes it. The Jets have got guys playing on their offensive line that were on the street 10 days ago. Multiple guys.
I mean,
and then
Micah
they lost their left.
came off.
Then they lost their left tackle, Micah Becton, who was in for an injured Dwayne Brown. So they are scraping the sides of the barrel trying to find somebody to line up. And when they lost a starter tonight, it put them even in a bigger hole. And the Bills' defensive front made them pay big time.
And the offensive line allows the most pressures in the NFL. Zach Wilson is one of the most sacked quarterbacks in the NFL so far this season, second most, I believe. And the defensive line got after him. They got after the offensive line tonight. I mean, 6 sacks, 8 quarterback hits. We saw 2.5 sacks from Leonard Floyd, which was awesome to see. He becomes the first Bill with multiple sacks in both games of a season series against the Jets since your teammate Bruce Smith did it in 1990. This defensive line has been playing at another
33
level.
33 years. Wow.
Yeah. It's been a while.
There's no excuse really for the defense not to have a good game against this offense, but you never know if they're going to do it until they do it. These guys are pros too, and you think a couple of plays. Breece Hall is an incredibly good player. I think Wilson, Jalen, not Zach Wilson, the receiver.
Garrett Wilson.
Yes. Say it again.
Garrett Wilson.
Garrett Wilson is a really good player. Breece Hall is a really good player. They've got some guys on their squad that can really play, and you can't get them the football because Zach Wilson, A, has trouble reading the defenses, B, has to deal with pressure on almost every snap. So you go into this game, you hope if that's the way it's going to be. The Bills have a really good defense, but they're nicked up, and the Bills go in and absolutely steamroll those guys. It's the way it should have been. 6 points or the points that the Jets got in the first half, couple of field goals. That's kind of what you thought it was going to be. And when the Bills were settling for field goals in the beginning of the game, we were saying in the press box, field goals might win it tonight. And it certainly would have had the Bills needed it to.
Yeah, it was awesome to see Rasul Douglas get a couple of interceptions as well. That ends the interception-less streak that the Bills had going 6 games. That is no longer as they pick up 2 of those tonight. All right, Chris Brown with our insider's take a little bit more about this offense tonight.
Bills head coach Sean McDermott said he wanted new energy and confidence injected into his offense with the promotion of Joe Brady to offensive coordinator this week. Mission accomplished. Brady used a ton of motion with the offense this week, forcing the Jets defense to communicate more, adjust their alignments, and it made the reads easier for Josh Allen to decipher. Simply put, it was motion with a purpose. The offense did not look like a heavy lift for the first time in almost 2 months, as Brady used just about every active skill player that he had at his disposal on the roster. And for the first time in weeks, Buffalo's offense also had some explosives, including the longest touchdown pass in the league this season of 81 yards from Josh Allen to Khalil Shakir. At Highmark Stadium, I'm Chris Brown for Bills Postgame Live.
All right, thanks, Chris Brown. And speaking of Khalil Shakir, he was on the podium answering some questions, so let's get right over to Khalil.
Touchdown in the NFL offensive this year. All yours.
That's what somebody had told me on the field. I didn't know it, but that's cool. That's awesome.
Describe the play. I mean, it was kind of explosive.
Yeah.
Playing the way it all went down.
I ran a seam route, and 17 put it right on the money. So that's him. That's O-line allowing him to get that ball. So appreciate them, and that's everybody else running their route so I could get open. So appreciate everybody.
2 yards after the catch, when did you know that you had it?
That looked slow or that looked fast?
Fast.
All right, yeah, that's all I got. So bad. So, I don't know. It just caught it and just started running, and then, cut back. Like I said, I felt like I was moving in slow motion, and then, ended up in the end zone. So.
What was working for you guys as an offense tonight? Josh said it was a hard week just with the turnover and coaching, but what worked tonight?
Tonight, I mean, I think the way tonight went is all because of how we prepared during the week. I think just the week itself was just every day, everybody brought a contagious energy, and we all kind of just fed off of each other. Even when stepping onto the practice field, Josh, Steph, Gabe, the O-line, all those guys just, attacking the practice field with a certain mentality, and then, rubbed off on everybody. Everybody's kind of bouncing off of each other, and then, that led into the game today. So I think that's definitely what led us to play well tonight.
Josh talked about him bringing energy as the quarterback and then telling guys to go have fun. Did you sense that the quarterback had a little more fun tonight?
Yeah, I mean, I love Josh. Like I said, what I did tonight is all him. Just his energy, the way he loves the game, his passion towards us as players, and as just dudes off the field. 17 special. He's a special person. So he knows, when he gets us going, we're going to feel that energy. And I mean, I appreciate 17 for sure.
Did you notice any difference tonight or today than maybe in the past few weeks? Because he talked specifically about bringing that energy.
Yeah, I mean, Josh has always been that guy who would get us going, who would say something before, whether that's him or Diggs or somebody. But, I mean, tonight it was just nonstop. We all just – I mean, it was fun. It felt fun to operate the way we were doing playing tonight. And 17 was the head honcho of all that, so appreciate him.
That's something Sean mentioned at practice this week, too, that practice felt a little more fun. How much can that do for you guys, whether it's practice or in a game?
Yeah, I mean, I think in this profession, it's easy to get caught up in, like, the business side and the business aspect of it on. It's easy to forget to have fun, At the end of the day, we're all playing a game that we all grew up and loved playing, as kids. And now we're playing. It's what we dreamed of, playing in the NFL, right? Again, like I said, it's tough sometimes mentally. You get caught up in the business side, and then you're just like, man, like, this is the game that I started playing when I was 7 years old, man, smiling, going out there playing with my buddies, backyard football. Me, I think when my pops coached me and all that type of stuff. So, yeah, man, I mean, just everybody smiling from the start, and not everything went our way tonight, but the way that everybody responded, when we first hit the sideline was, everybody was just talking to each other. Everybody was communicating with each other like, we're good, let's keep it going. We need to get in the end zone, and it was, like I said, the energy was contagious tonight.
You mentioned your dad. Any texts from him?
I haven't even checked my phone yet. I try to shower because I try and go as fast as possible to get up there and see my whole family. And I think this is my dad's first home game he's been at. So, so that was awesome. Special day for sure. Atia, call him Shaq.
Do you remember who told you that it was the longest touchdown in the NFL this year?
Where's he at? I don't know. I remember his face. That's bad. I'm terrible with names. I'm sorry.
But what is it like just having that perspective on it of not only was it a big play for you in the game, but longest in the league this year?
I don't think that, and this may sound funny, but I try not to just think about, that's a stat or that's a, longest touchdown in the NFL or whatever this year. So I try not to really think that way. I'm more of, I think anybody in here, every time I've talked to y'all, I'm just laid back, chill, and I don't really look too much into everything. I'm more of, let's keep what we had going on as an offense and what we were able to accomplish tonight. Let's just keep it going.
Did it feel good as an offense to hit on a couple of big plays? I know you had one. Ty Johnson had the big touchdown. Does it feel good as an offense when you're able to make those chunk plays?
Yeah, I mean, it felt like everybody was involved in a way. Everybody, Coach McDermott says, do your 111th, and I felt that tonight, So, like I said, I mean, it's just an awesome feeling. I'm buzzing right now, for sure.
Thanks.
Y'all have a good night.
All right, this game is sponsored by the St. Bonaventure University. Go to www.sbu.edu/visit today to schedule a campus tour this fall and visit St. Bonaventure. It might just be the right place for you. Right from the start, the intersection of heart and mind. All right, the Bills offense got back on track with a new offensive coordinator. Interim offensive coordinator Joe Brady moved over from quarterbacks coach to calling the plays. No stranger to doing that. He did it with the Carolina Panthers before coming over to the Buffalo Bills. Also was involved with that explosive LSU offense that had Joe Burrow, Jamar Chase, Justin Jefferson. And we heard Josh Allen talk about having fun, this group smiling. When Khalil Shakir scored that big touchdown, Josh Allen ran over like half the field to go celebrate with him and had a huge smile on his face, grabbed Khalil's helmet, kind of headbutted him, and it looked like the guys were back to enjoying this sport, which a lot of them have talked about on the podium tonight. It looked easy for them. It didn't look too tough. Chris Brown spoke about the motions that they were using. They were able to get Stephon Diggs sometimes out on his own in a one-on-one matchup. We know he wins those all the time. So, Steve, when you looked at the offense that Joe Brady called tonight, what was different about it? What did you like about it? We saw a lot of different guys get involved as well.
I liked it because he did spread the football around, and I felt there, on certain occasions, and we thought during the Daily Show, we talked, Brownie and I, about just it was only going to take like 4 plays throughout the entire game to make it look entirely different. And I think the scheme, the one in the red zone where he schemed James Cook open just all by himself as a walk-in touchdown. It was a wide open touchdown. That was a game breaker, right? That changed things. And then the quick pass to Ty Johnson down the sidelines. He turned it up. The ball came out of Josh's hands really fast. The backs were there. The motion and sets and a lot of personnel changes helped. And it just seemed crisp. The ball came out of Josh's hand. There were guys waiting on it. And I think that efficiency really was the difference in the game. Those couple of plays to the backs, particularly early in the game, getting the ball out quick, not looking down the field, and settling for the back, but going to the back first before the pass rush could even get out of their stance, basically. They couldn't even get to the other side of the line of scrimmage. Josh dropped back, bam, the ball was gone, and the back was there ready for it. And the Jets, because they were trying to disguise their look, were coming from a little bit further away and couldn't get there in time. James Cook walked into the end zone, and then Ty Johnson turned it up the field, and he had used the speed to tightrope all the way into the end zone on a 4th and 2. Getting the ball out of his hands, on the backs, whoever it may be, fast tonight was really huge. He got sacked a couple of times, but it was when he held on to the football. And getting the guys schemed open, particularly in the red zone, was crucial. Yeah, it was fun to see some of those big offensive plays. We haven't seen a ton of those this year. The Bills rank in the middle of the NFL, kind of tied for 14th in terms of plays that go 20 or more yards. And we got to give kudos to quarterback Josh Allen because he now has the new NFL record for most total touchdowns in a player's first 6 seasons. His number is 205. He passed Patrick Mahomes. That's a big milestone for Josh Allen. And we saw him do a good job of taking care of the football tonight. Saw a few quarterback draw plays for him as well. He got involved in the run game, had 5 carries for 15 yards. Not a huge number, but enough to get him going. They actually bottled him up really well on the running game. They had a couple of called quarterback runs, and then he did hurt him. The one he hurt him bad on was the scramble for a first down on 3rd and 5 or something like that. He got it easily and slid at 7 yards and got up, and here we go, move the change. It was the perfect time to do it. But when they called his number, it seemed like the Jets were like waiting on it. He took some shots because of it. That's the kind of thing that scares a coaching staff off, calling that kind of thing. But no question, Josh was on his game tonight, and their ability to run the football, even in the second half when the Jets were not going to get back into the game. Yeah. Latavius Murray came in and grounded out. James Cook continued to play well, and Ty Johnson, all 3 backs got into the game and ground the time of possession. 36 minutes of time of possession. It's been a while since the Bills have won the time of possession by that margin, and their run game really helped them. 36-23 was the time of possession battle. The Bills won that for sure. They go over their averages on offense in points, total yards per game, rushing yards, and passing yards. They go under on defense in points allowed, rushing yards allowed, passing yards allowed, total yards allowed. So both sides of the football really helped each other out tonight. And let's talk a little bit more about those explosive plays. And to help us with that, let's hear from Ty Johnson.
What's it like going off, scoring against your old team?
Feels good, man. You know what I'm saying? It was a surreal moment, but it was just being present in the moment. You know what I'm saying? You kind of always think you're going to get that opportunity, but you just don't know. You know what I'm saying? We have a great running back room. And, he called my number for the play, and I was like, oh, all right. You know what I'm saying? Be present, execute, and take it from there. So It felt good, of course.
You get a lot of congratulations from the Jets after the game?
Oh, yeah. I talked to a lot of them before the game, last night, after the game. Got a lot of dudes over there, a lot of guys that I care about dearly and everything, so it was just good to see them and, just be on the field competing against them. You know what I'm saying?
Could you just tell us walk us through the play? I mean, it was a short yardage play,
Mhm.
the one. Had you practiced, this week, this
Mhm.
play?
Well, just a normal rollout, to the offensive left or the defensive left. They just let me run free, catch it, clean catch, drop step, great transition. Sorry, got the teeth in. So, great transition, and, go from there.
So, I mean, did you like Shakir goes in motion, that really the only guy left there is Whitehead's three, the safety three.
Mhm.
I mean, were you kinda,
Exactly.
like when the play, are you kind of looking at Whitehead there and saying it's going to be open?
You just get out as fast as possible because it's a rollout. So you gotta get your head around quick. You see it every week. At least once from every team. A rollout, especially in the red zone. But we called it 4th and 1, 4th and 2, which was obviously a critical down. Got to have it. So it's just execute, do my job, and I was grateful that I had the opportunity.
How do you feel about you tore your pec just working out where it was at the Jets facility or?
No, I was back home training with some guys.
It's unfortunate.
Yeah, I was just trying to be way too strong. I felt good this offseason, got really strong, and was putting up too much weight. Almost had it, but it don't matter.
Bench press?
Yeah, it was bench press.
How much weight?
415.
Okay.
So
then you wind up you're rehabbing all training camp. The Bills picked you up on August 20th or something.
Yeah, I believe so. It was that Tuesday or Monday right before the Chicago game.
Right.
I flew out to Colorado like 3 days beforehand, got cleared. Teams calling, my agent calling, whatever, and the
so you
Bills.
got other chances to go somewhere else, maybe.
Yeah, I mean, it's just how it is. You know what I'm saying? My agent and I, we like the Bills and we like the people in the building. You know what I'm saying? Other than being, great players, I look at people as great people too.
Did
You know what I'm saying?
Anybody here on the team? Personally?
Just a few people. I had AJ Klein because he's with my agent as well. Deontay Hardy, Stephon, of course. Just guys here and there, and obviously playing against the Bills past 3 seasons. So just being aware of all those guys as well. So it was a good transition.
Josh and Khalil both said how this week and this game felt it was fun again for the team. Did you kind of sense that from the offense of feeling fun again?
Yeah, absolutely. You got guys after the ball's thrown, transitioning all the way downfield into the end zone. I mean, you guys are out there, you see it. But guys just having a party in the end zone, having fun, doing crazy celebrations or whatever. Even on scout team, guys are just having fun, transitioning, getting after the ball, and just putting in the work, really just chopping wood every day. And resharp the axe after practice, get back to it the next day. So it was a good week.
It looked like you guys had even more motion than usual tonight, pre-snap motion. And it seemed like the motion had a purpose to it throughout the game. Just, do you feel like it was more frequent tonight, just in terms of getting the Jets on the move, forcing them to communicate, things like that?
Yeah, I think when you force any team to communicate a lot of things get lost in translation as well. And I think we executed on that. Coach Brady and Josh, they did a great job running the offense pre-snap, and it showed. You know what I'm saying? We were getting guys open. The run and pass game, they complement each other. So you could see it, and simple as that.
Against the running game was pretty good today against that defense. Just you know them very well. What do you think about putting up that much yards and points against that defense?
Yeah, practicing against them, being with them, I knew what they bring to the table, and also we knew too. It's a hard-hitting defense. They just, they BSU blow, shit up.
It was a feisty. I mean,
yeah.
You kind of was there any talk that we better match their energy because they'll try to push people around?
Oh, absolutely. And they got a lot of dudes over there, great dudes that they just keep turning, they keep going. So it's really just wear them out because they have a rotation of linemen that come in every few downs, every drive, so everyone's fresh. So you got your starting line out there. You got to be on your P's and Q's and fire off the ball, or you're going to get punched in the mouth. And I think the whole O-line, they did a hell of a job today, and they were just trucking away, and it showed.
How much of that late in the game, the frustrations boiling over, had to do with just them not being able to do what they usually do against your offense?
You talking about Jets?
The Jets, yeah.
I mean, I couldn't tell you. I'm not on their sideline. You know, you could obviously see it, a little extracurricular activity after plays and stuff like that. But that's just, you know, they play hard-nosed football. You know what I'm saying? They want to aggravate you. They want to get in your face, things like that. But you just got to keep fighting back, keep punching back. Simple as that. And, you know it was going to get a little unchy after, you know, so many scores and everything. I feel like that's with any team, you know what I'm saying? Because they want to make something happen. But they just keep going, you know what I'm saying? They keep fighting, and you got to fight back.
Thanks, John.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Ty Johnson with the big game, so he wears the grills. I absolutely love it. Heading into this game, the Jets defense had only allowed one touchdown reception to a wide receiver. It was Stephon Diggs in week 1. They allow another touchdown reception to a wide receiver tonight. That guy would be Khalil Shakir. Also, the Bills at home against the AFC East are now 12-1 since 2020, including the playoffs. They have now won their 4th straight game at home against the Jets as well. So I know the AFC East games for the Bills, at least before this one, a little bit tougher. They still have 2 more games against the AFC East this season.
They're huge games. They got to win them.
But when you look at what they've done since 2020, this team does have a really good record against the division. They still have a chance to win it as well. They're second right now. Miami Dolphins are number 1, but they continue to stack wins. Hey, this division can still be yours.
There's too much football to be played to decide who's going to win the division today, and the Bills are still in it mathematically. They could win the division themselves. But they got to keep winning. They got to win their division games. They've beaten the Dolphins once. They've got to beat them again at the end of the season, along with the Dolphins. They split with the Jets so far, and the best they can hope for with the Patriots is a split. So if they're going to win the division, they got to win the division games and some more on top of that. They're 2 games behind the Miami Dolphins, with right now the head-to-head on the Dolphins. So, yeah, there's a lot of football to be played. Plenty of everything they want is still in front of the Buffalo Bills. They can earn it themselves if they continue to win games. But the story's been almost beaten to death. They have a hard schedule coming up. Philadelphia coming up, the bye week, and then the Chiefs, the Cowboys, the Chargers, the Patriots, and the Dolphins. That's a hard schedule. Now, this is a good team, and as you said, Maddy, they're tough in this building, no question about it. And even on the road, nobody runs off and leaves them. But they got to get out of their own way like they did tonight, not turn the football over. And if they do that, I think for most of those teams that are left on the schedule, even the good ones, this team's too tough to beat.
Yeah. All of their 5 losses have been by 6 points or fewer. They have been in every single game this season. And when they have the losses, we always go back to this team beat themselves. It's the turnovers. Maybe they're turning a new leaf tonight as they have a huge win against the Jets, 32-6. Our head coach, Sean McDermott, is on the podium. Let's hear what he had to say about this big victory.
Glory to God, man. Good to come in here and get a win. Divisional game, 4 o'clock start. Crowd was, again, phenomenal at home. I really thought that the opening kickoff, set the tone for the entire game. Great job by our kickoff team. Reggie Gilliam, I think, was the player that caused the fumble, and it went on from there. So offensively, I thought we did a good job during the week, led by Joe and the offensive staff, really coming together, the collaboration, and then working then to Josh, and Josh taking it, really Josh, Steph, and Mitch taking it to the offensive players and bringing the game plan to life and practice and the meetings, and then what you saw on the field, and then defensively being able to get a little bit of a lead and rush the passer and take the ball away is what we're used to doing there. So good overall team win. Much work remains. Obviously, the penalties, we need to be more disciplined than that. But real proud overall of real proud overall of the team and their effort this week.
Sean, what's the payoff after the week that you had, and to have a game like that, comprehensive, every phase contributed to a big margin? Everybody gets to play. The guys who are even on the fringes are making contributions. What does that do?
Well, again, we came in here and we know we were going to need a team effort, and we hadn't really played team football over the last X amount of weeks, with the turnovers and whatnot, and I'll just start there. So the guys were adamant and intentional about making sure that we played good team football. And I know we had the one turnover before half. Really, even that one shouldn't have happened. But overall, I thought it was a good team effort.
Josh said how there was an emphasis on having fun this week. I guess, what did you see from Josh today? Was it kind of what you were hoping to see from him? Like, how would you assess it?
Yeah, I saw a little bit more of his personality and our offense's personality. And this is nothing about what had happened before or with Coach Dorsey. It's more of just us getting back to, just an energy on offense and guys, like you said, having some fun. And I thought the offensive staff did a real good job of shaping a game plan that the guys felt good about and could execute. And fundamentally, I thought we did a good job with the line of scrimmage as well. Coach Cromer and those offensive linemen took it to heart. I mean, that's a really good defense on the other side. And when you can control the line of scrimmage the way we did, you can be a two-dimensional offense.
Knowing how you've been going through offensively and the change made this week, to come out and put a performance like that up against a defense that is given your team challenges over the years, and to score the most points against that defense of any team this year, is it any more gratifying to do it against a team like that?
Well, I'll just start by saying a win is a win. And they're hard every week, but you got to earn them. And we knew it was going to be tough. To your point, they're a good defense. And it starts up front, right? It starts up front. And then we knew we couldn't give them short fields. And they've gotten short fields over the times we've played them, at least, and because we've turned the ball over. And they do that. They take the ball away. They punch it out. So, again, I just thought it started up front with our offensive line. And our running backs, I thought, ran extremely well. James, Tay, and then Ty in there as well. I mean, you could feel all three of those guys in a different way. That was important for us.
While you're there, can you talk about Cook? I mean,
yeah,
that was a hell of a night after what happened last week.
Yeah, what did he have? What James
73.
73. Yeah, I mean, you could tell he was running with a purpose. He had his pads down, and he was. I just saw signs. I won't go into the detail here, but I saw signs of him developing, which I know he's been working on. So I thought that was good to see.
Sean, any initial reports you can give on any of the injuries?
Yeah, I don't know anymore right now. So I'll just pray for those guys, and I believe Taylor is at home right now, so which is a good thing. So.
Coach, care to talk about how Reggie Gillen was able to set the tone with that big hit and fumble?
Yeah, I mean, special teams, we deferred, and they came out with intention, and that was a hit, right? And it jarred the ball loose, and the guys were there, and just the whole energy of the team, the energy of the stadium, it just lifted, right? And so it's one thing to run down on kickoff, it's another thing to run down with intention and purpose, and you could feel that in particular on the early kickoffs there.
You mentioned Josh's personality coming out a little bit. Obviously some more design runs tonight. How much of that is kind of at play, him getting involved in all phases for you guys offensively, and how much was that kind of like an emphasis with the play?
Yeah, it was in there. I mean, we'll see where it goes each week. It's a little bit different each week based on the game plan and the defense we play. But I just think overall Josh's play, he looked very in control in the game. Not that it was easy, but it was easy, right? In just terms of he was taking what the defense was giving him. Our players in the flats were and over the ball. The checkdowns were making people miss in space. And so, I mean, that's good. It's one thing to throw a check down. It's another thing for it to get tackled. But, and so you're like, okay, well, I'm not going to throw it then. It's just not as enticing. But in space, our players were making plays, which is good to see.
Sean, it's only been a couple of weeks, but what's Rasul Douglas meant to your defense?
Yeah. Like I said before, I mean, he's a smart football player. And the game makes a lot of sense to him. So there's a reason why he could when he came in a short week, I believe, got there Wednesday, didn't practice, and then played played. Was that a Sunday night game maybe? I can't even remember. But that doesn't, I mean, that's hard to do, right? Learn an entire defensive game plan from scratch and do that. And then now he's starting to really, I think, get into a rhythm of how he can make the defense work for him, right? And once you get a feel for what's expected, what's required, then you say, okay, this is when I can do some things in this defense.
Sean, but Khalil Shakir, he said he felt he was moving slow on that 81-yard touchdown. What did you see on that play, and just what did you see out of him in this game?
Yeah, I mean, I think there's a lot of value in dependability, right? And he's one of our most dependable, consistent performers, off the field, on the field, and I'm glad to see we're using him and getting him involved. And you know, I think when you're playing, when you prepare a certain way and then you visualize, sometimes the game seems like it slows down for you, and I think that's what you're seeing.
Sean, we had 27 total yards for Diggs and Davis combined. And in weeks past or years past, when you have that kind of production, probably not talking about a win, how much does that speak to the idea of complementary football?
Yeah, I mean, I'll tip my cap to those guys. It's not easy as a wide receiver to go and get those numbers and still feel good about things. And Steph and Gabe were phenomenal the entire game. And even when Steph, you know, got body slammed, you know, he didn't pop up and retaliate, and then it was an offsetting foul. I mean, Steph was very in control the entire night, and you know, playing good team football.
Sean, Mitch talked about the need to get simple this week because of the change, and maybe less you could do, and more of a focus on execution. How much was that refocus a factor in what was better about the offense tonight?
I think that was in there for sure, but it was a lot of little things, right, that factored into one big boulder of the why, right? I mean, you could point to a lot of things that we did right during the week in particular, and the guys executed. So, you know, there's a lot of things in there.
Sean, I don't know if this is a better question for you tomorrow, but what did you make of the game that Joe Brady called, and you know, since his first game since his promotion?
Yeah, I mean, again, I felt like Joe, along with the first of all, Joe picked up where we needed him to right away. You know, when we made the switch, there was no hesitation. He went right to the offensive staff. The offensive staff really came together and collaborated in a team way, in an effective way. And you know, I saw a healthy dose of leadership from Joe, and then Joe's relationship with Josh, and I think was important. His communication during the week, and making sure that Josh was in sync with the game plan, that they had good symmetry there, and then the way he called the game, to your question, it was again, I could hear the offensive staff communicating, collaborating, adjusting, and then Joe taking that and putting it into play. So it was I thought it was executed well.
John, I don't know if you were asked about this during the week. Forgive me if it's a repeat, but I think it's what you're alluding to there. When you go from coaching one position in the quarterbacks, I'm guessing that Joe is not privy to everything that's going on in the O-line room, in the tight ends room. So how does it go from that quarterback coaching job to being the offensive coordinator, where you now need to have kind of agency over all the positions, and how difficult is it to pick that up in 4 days?
Well, if there's one position that does it, it is the quarterback position, the quarterback coach. And Joe's been involved in some things, big picture-wise, prior to now, and then his experience in the job at other places, right, also helps with that. So that's not really a new job, right? It's just new here, and you know, I thought he did a really nice job. I really did. Even, you know, Joe and I meeting last night a little bit before the game, or last night before meetings, his communication not only with the offensive staff but with me, I thought was important, and that's important that it continues as well.
Sean, overall, what has Dalton Kincaid meant to your offense since he was inserted into the starting lineup?
Yeah, what did Dalton have? I don't see it.
6 for 46.
6 for 46. Yeah, I mean, I don't know how much, what he had the first go around against the Jets, but to me, it's just it's what I'm used to when you see a tight end. What I came up around in Philadelphia, what I came up around in Carolina with respect to Greg Olsen in Carolina, and then Chad Lewis or the other tight ends we used in Philadelphia with Donovan there, and Dawson. Let's not forget about Dawson, and obviously he's been out, and we look forward to getting him back. He's a valuable part of our team. But for a young player like Dalton to come in and develop this rapport now that you're seeing with Josh, it's really good. I know for the quarterback in terms of when you have that security blanket over the middle of the defense, it's nice to have.
Coach, we know how crucial things were on trying to get things back on track, but how do you build off this victory heading back home to Philly?
Yeah, well, we just take them 1 week at a time, and we've got things we need to work on, and we'll go back to work on those tomorrow. And it'll be a big challenge for us to go into Philadelphia. It's a tough place to play, so we've got to have a good week of preparation there, and a good Thanksgiving. Happy Thanksgiving to everyone.
Talk about having fun in the offensive game. What point did you lose it? At what point did you lose it? Talk about having fun, getting back to that energy. At what point of the season did you lose it?
Yeah, well, if I knew that, I've been able to probably win a lottery. Maybe I should buy some lottery tickets. I don't know, but I just think overall, we just weren't operating on all cylinders. I'll just say it that way. And there's a lot of things that were into that as well, that go into that as well. And that's, you have a vision for moving us forward, and that's really what this is all about. Is I'm not looking in the past. This is about where we're trying to go moving forward. That's all. All right, thanks, guys.
Ticketmaster is the presenting sponsor of the Buffalo Bills 2023 season. Ticketmaster, the official ticket marketplace of the NFL. And Sean McDermott was talking about Josh Allen and seeing a little bit more of his personality, a little bit more energy out of him, as well as the offense. And it's the first time this offense has scored over 25 points in 6 weeks. We remember weeks 2 through 4 when this team was unstoppable, averaging 41 points per game. They get back to looking like that, scoring 32 against one of the best defenses in the NFL, particularly against the pass. And this passing offense went off. 263 total passing yards. Josh Allen finishes with 3 passing touchdowns, 108 passer rating. It's what we know this offense can be, and we're going to need to see that consistently ahead as the Bills get ready for a big game against the Philadelphia Eagles on next Sunday afternoon.
Yeah, it was good to see the Bills' offense. They scored in every quarter of the game, first, second, third, and fourth. Kept the pressure on the Jets the entire time, moved the football, even in the early going when their drive stalled and they settled for field goals, even on the short field to begin the game. They kept the pressure on, and then when they came out of the half, 2 straight scoring drives, 75 yards, and that was the game. And you knew it was going to be a downhill coast from there. So great job by the offense. They did not take a step back. Even and like we said, the interception was a Hail Mary at the end of the first half. Let's get out of here.
Happens.
And they came back out and answered it with a 75-yard drive for like 7 or 8 plays. And it was just really impressive. And I like the fact that, like I said, 4 quarters, they kept the pressure on. They ran the football. They threw it, schemed guys open, quick passing game, and some explosive plays.
All right, so what has to happen this week as this team gets ready for a tough opponent in the Eagles?
This is one of the games where you kind of circle it on the calendar. And even the most optimistic Bills fan is sitting there saying, okay, when you go down and you go and Bills fans got them, 14-3 at the end of the season, they're going to go 15-2 at the end of the season. This Philly game is one that you circle and go, man, I don't know, it's a coin toss, even back then. So this Phillies team is playing extremely well. They're well coached. They're very talented defensively. They're playmakers all over the field. Jalen Hurts is a really quality football player, and in the conversation for the MVP when he's playing well. Nick Sirianni is a really good head coach, young and very energetic. The team responds to him. They were in the Super Bowl 10 months ago.
Yeah, one thing the Bills have going for them is that the Eagles are going to be on a short week because they play the Kansas City Chiefs on Monday night. So I know all eyes will be on that game. We're going to close things up from here. For Steve Tasker, I'm Maddy Glab. If you guys want more sound, more player breakdowns, more highlights, you can tune into MSG at 11:30. We will see you guys after Thanksgiving, after the Eagles game, that is. So we hope you have a wonderful Thanksgiving week. Happy Thanksgiving to you all. We'll see you next week.